Smith away with a 2:44 red light. Oh, Metris getting all kinds of crazy on the right side, and that Fiesta will not improve. McHugh 35-1, 5:61 reaction time. Picks up about a tenth of a second. That's Sean McHugh. He needs another 4/10 to get ahead of Runyon and is actually within about a full second of the podium. Ken Molinar, your leader. Your leaders in STU at the line. Highcotter over Mikko. Mikko, your morning leader yesterday. Highcotter took it away in the afternoon. But great battle there. Rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive. 6:68 for Highcotter, 7:14 for Mikko. 2:44 reaction time for Smith. All right, so I'm going to hand the mic over to Howard Duncan so I can go swap some tires. This has been Eric Hyman from the Lone Star region. Been a pleasure as always. Look forward to seeing you all in the challenge. I am out.
Okay, just finishing up was Doug Mikko over on the right side with a 31.611. He picks up almost 0.3 of a second. Over on the left, Brian Highcotter, he picks up a tenth with a 31.4. Brian's sitting in the lead by 0.4 of a second right now. Just coming to the line, we got Mark Deshawn working a cone on that left side in the Z car. He's in with a 32.5 plus 1, so no help there for him. Grant Wood over on the right side, 32.628, and a little slower on that one, so no help. Again, Brian Highcotter leading the pack in STU by 0.4 of a second. Working through the crossover now is Dan Padola over on the left side in that Impreza WRX, and Hal Dorton over on the right in that M3 Coupe. Hal through with no help with a 33.5. Started out with a good 5.38 hole shot though. Dan with a 31.9, but picks up a cone. Would have been faster by 0.7 of a second, but unfortunately the cone takes that away. So Brian Highcotter and Doug Mikko continue in those top two spots. Third spot is Mark Deshawn, who just ran a moment ago. Working the right side is Vern Jolly in his MX-5. He's got a 465 red light working, so there'll be nothing there for him. Hi Lee over on the left side of the 911. He's through with a 6/10 pickup with a 32.014, so that'll help him out a little bit. Still got a ways to go to move up a position, but again, Vern Jolly would have been faster by half second with a 34.8, but unfortunately a red light start negates that. All right, Glenn Hernandez catching a ride in the Montfort car. Working his way back as he had some significant car troubles yesterday with his Corvette. And Glenn through the lights. I'll have to wait for Carroll to finish here on the right side. Carroll's at a 575 light, but then a little trouble out on course. Course workers running. And Glenn Hernandez picks up a 10.5 with a 31.673. 31.673. Carroll Ludy faster by a half second with a 38.968.
All right. Whew. Let's get in here. Here's we got Sean McHugh and Derek Metros coming in on the left-hand side. We're in second drivers at bump 2. 35.3 on the left. That's a 91 thousandths pickup. Sean McHugh on the right with a 5.09 pickup. So a 5/10 pickup for Sean McHugh on the right side. Back to your leaders in STU, Doug Mikko. We call him David, and Brian Highcotter on the right. We'll call him Goliath. But right now, Doug Mikko back from Highcotter just a little bit, so definitely not over yet. I believe they've already got a run, so I believe they're already on their warm tire runs now, so we should start seeing some improvements. Highcotter very slow on the right-hand side. Course workers running behind him in the distance. You might be able to see at home on the Ustream feed better than I can. Mikko left side improvement, 3/10 pickup for Mikko on the left. 31.5 will be Doug's best left side time. Right now those guys now separated by a 1/10 of a second between Highcotter and Mikko, with a run to go for each one on each side. more than a run, 3 runs, I think, 2 runs, 2 runs, a run on each side for both of them left to go. So it's Highcotter, Micko, Mark Deshawn in that third spot. Deshawn back now on the right, no help in that Nissan 350Z. And Mike Wood on the left, 32.6, no help there for Mike on that left-hand side course. So move down through STU drivers here, Dan Padola, Hal Dorton. Padola with that short gearing. He's in that third gear early. So we'll see how that shapes up here in STU as he is trying to find some time over there on that right side course. Hal Dorton in the BMW M3 Coupe. The only car in STU, BMW in STU as far as I know. Left-hand side back, 33.3. Half-second pickup on the left, and look at that, Dan Padola ate some spinach for breakfast, 31.0, 1.3-second improvement there for Padola on that right side course. That puts Dan in the trophies, so Dan Padola now in that third spot behind Micko. It's California, Washington in the trophies in STU. Hi, Lee, Sebastian Rios coming back at us here as Vernon Jolly and Glenn Hurricane Hernandez driving a borrowed cars out there, catching the code right out of the box. First corner workers. There we go. Somebody's coming over there. Hi, Lee on the right side. Nice pickup for Hi Lee. A 1.7-second improvement there for Hi Lee on the right. Sebastian Rios, 32.9, just a few thousandths of a second off his quick left side time. So right on top of it, but no faster for Sebastian on that left side run. Back out on course, Hernandez on the right, plus a cone right out of the box. You're watching at home. You got to see that right on the screen. Vernon Jolly left-hand side. Vernon trying to keep that Mazda Miata through the lights cleanly, 36.9. Not faster for Vernon on the left. Hurricane with the cone. Wasn't faster on course anyway. Glenn's 32.2 scratch plus a cone. Wasn't as quick as he's been over there previous, but Glenn is trying to adjust to a completely different Corvette in 4 runs. But if there's anybody that can do it here in the grid, it is Mr. Hurricane Hernandez. Carol Ludi, Derek Metras out on course now. Carol battling that car out on course, but at the tree, Carol is sharp as a tack. That Porsche launch control doing wonders for Carol's launch. Although her reaction time a bit slow on this one with a 1.1 second reaction time. Carol back now on the left, 41.5. No help for her as slowing down on course somewhere for some reason. Derek Metras on the right. Derek finding 0.7 of a second in that Fiesta ST Skittle car. 34.9 will be his best right side time at a Sociesium California Prospect Hotel Chevrolet Corvette. But right now, Molinauer over Hernandez. 0.4 separate those. Glenn with one more run to go. Kit Gauthier in that third spot, the WRX. Only 0.2 back for Hernandez. So 1, 2, 3, definitely all in contention here. It's not over yet, although Kit is done. No more runs for him. So only Hernandez, as I look at the results a little closer here. Hernandez, the only one really threatening Molinauer for the win there at bump 2. And Sean McHugh yet to run, although I thought I saw Sean run. There's Sean. So Sean in now 35.1. 22 thousandths quicker is Sean McHugh. That puts him up in that 6th spot. And your class leaders in STU at the line right now. Highcotter, Micko on the right, Highcotter on the left, nearly identical reaction time, 6:33 to a 6:43. It's going to have to be done out on course. Those guys separated by 1/10 of a second right now. What a feather in the cap for Doug Micko to beat Brian Highcotter with that big bullseye on his back. Well-known autocrosser turned pro racer. And you know Highcotter didn't get there for no reason, so he's pedaling out there. Chris Smith, left-hand side, plus a cone for you, buddy. Car number 56 plus 1. Would have been a 7/10 pickup. Micko back on the right, 31.2. He finds 0.3 of a second. Highcotter also finds time 1/10 of a second. Is that enough? When the computer does the math, it's going to be within thousandths. And Micko takes the lead with 1 run yet to go. Doug Micko out of Seattle, Washington, the Map Performance Autosport Labs Mitsubishi Evo is now 58 thousandths of a second in front of Brian Highcotter with 1 more run to go. Doesn't get any more exciting than that. Go Pro Solo. Dan Padola holding down that 3rd spot in this 9-car STU field. All right, Grant Wood in on the right, plus a cone, 31.9. That's would have been a 0.5 second pickup there for Mike, but plus a cone, no help on that right side. Mark Deshawn, left side, red lights, a 490 red light, 10 thousandths on the wrong side of perfect. Plus a cone, your scratch mark was a 31.7. Padola out there. Padola on that left-hand side course picked up 1.7 crazy seconds over there on that right-hand side. We'll see if he learned the lessons from the right. Can bring him over here on the left. Pedaling through the finish is Padola. He's going to trip the beam with a time of 32.1. He picks up another half a second over there on that left-hand side. Where does that put Padola? He is snugged up real nice and tight now to Highcotter. So it's Miko, Highcotter, Padola, all in the top spots there in STU. Hal Dorton with a red light run on the right, 494 red light, no help there for him. High lead, Baran Jolly out on course. As your STU class leaders back in the grid, pulling up slowly, car by car, thinking it over. What do I got to do? High lead back on the left, no help, 1/10 of a second, plus 3 cones, car number 52. 34.9 on the right for Vernon Jolly, and Vernon finding some time. Hernandez and Ludi both with red light starts here. Glenn red lighting his final shot to get around Mullenauer, but you know, Glenn being the all-consummate gentleman and very often as a co-driver and may have just gentlemanly backed out, but you know Glenn went for it. But a red light's not going to make an improvement for Glenn on that left side run. And special thanks to Ken for letting those Northwest folks get in the car. Really appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. Derek Metras, Sean McHugh out on course. Bump to second drivers, Fiesta ST on the left. Your mom's Honda Accord, a sedan on the right. Looking pretty identical as the crossover starts. If you're going to be watching the challenge rounds coming up here at the end of the day and you're on Ustream, we're going to add some more cameras to that, and we're really going to produce a great show. So call your friends, your solo friends in the community, tell them to watch the spectacular 32-car shootout here at CROWS Landing, and hopefully make it the best production I've ever done. All right, Sean McHugh back right, 34.9, no help there for him. Left-hand side for Derek Metras at 35.1. And that is a 1/10 of a second pickup for Metras. So Metras finding time on his final left side run. That's how you get her done. Christopher Smith now solo run as your class leaders in STU at the line. Wow, no holds barred. Look at that launch by Miko, a 533 to a 568. These guys are going for broke. This is it. I called it earlier. David versus Goliath. Right now, David threw a rock right in Goliath's eye. He's wincing back on his heels with Miko in the lead. But you know Highcotter's not going to stand for that. He's going to put his foot to the floor, keep his eyes up, and watch this talented driver spin this car. I shouldn't say spin, but roll this car through the cones. Looking awfully smooth, so smooth it might be a faster run. Is it enough? Highcotter back. 3/10 pickup for Highcotter. Does Doug match it? He does. 3/10 pickup for Doug Miko. Both drivers finding time. The computer does the math. Miko unofficially taking the win by 95 thousandths of a second. Way to go, Doug. Good job. Great driving, Brian. You guys, great show to watch there this weekend. Mike Wood, Mark Deshawn coming back at us now. Mark Deshawn on that right side, catching the cone right at the finish for Deshawn. Would have been a 4/10 pickup with the cone. No help on the right for Deshawn. 2 cones now going down for car number 93. Mike Wood left side. Mike finding a few thousandths of a second over there in that left side course. 32.117 will be his quickest left side times. We move down through STU drivers. Dan Padola, Hal Dorton. Now Dan found 1.7 on the right. Half a second on the left. Now he's back over on the right, but he's got a cone on this run, so you know he was going hard. That car chit-chattering through the finish there. And he's in with a 31.6. Wasn't going to be faster anyway. Slowed down a little bit to hit that cone. Hal Dorton, though, picks up 62 thousandths of a second on that left-hand side. But what a battle there in STU. Padola is going to round it out there in that third spot. So unofficially, Doug Miko taking the win in STU over Brian Highcotter. In that third spot, Dan Padola. Mark Deshawn, one of the trophies, in fourth. Thanks for the show, STU. Great, great driving. Back to Superstock. Second drivers, Hai Lee and Carol Ludi coming back at us here. Hai Lee in a 911 GT3. And then with a 31.4, it's a 4/10 pickup for Hai Lee, as there's going to score a DNF on Carol Ludi on that left-hand side course. Motnishi and Brown 1-2 in this class.